we're taking a look at crypto payments in the gaming space. So Max and Tony, jumping straight in, I want to start with you, Max. Can you just give us an overview of how things look for online but also land-based gaming operators when it comes to crypto payments?
Hi, Jess. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly specializing on all the services are based around online gaming. Cryptocurrencies are booming in online. According to our calculations, approximately quarter of all transactions in cryptocurrencies are going to iGaming operators or around iGaming industry, like affiliates and so on. So it's doing extremely great, especially with the pandemic of the COVID. Online business is booming and online entertainment as well.
Fantastic. So it definitely seems like things are moving there. Now, Tony, I want to turn to you because Max has given us the online perspective. How are things looking on the land-based?
Well, we are seeing with the pandemic, many of the land-based casinos are moving to online. So I lived in Macau for many years. I'm the vice chairman of Macau Gaming Information Association. So I deal with a lot of the casino operators and VIP junket operators in Macau, as well as in the Philippines, Southeast Asia, Cambodia, like Myanmar, Laos, and Vietnam, for example. So I work with them very closely. Macau, over the first quarter, had a drop of over 90% year to year revenue compared to last year, the gaming revenue, GGR. So as we can imagine, that's because of the isolation and the quarantine that's required. Anyone who comes to Hong Kong or Macau will be required to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks under isolation quarantine. So the casinos are taking big hits, and the Chinese, more than 90% of Macau's visitors, casino players are from China, and they're restricted from coming to Macau. So many of them are moving to online. Macau itself doesn't allow online gaming, so many of the gaming operators have expanded their operations to the Philippines and other Southeast Asia jurisdictions that allows online gaming.
And Tony, if you can just give us a little bit of an outlook here, because the focus for this discussion is Asia. So how are different regulations across different areas, like you've mentioned the Philippines, you've mentioned Macau and Hong Kong, how do they vary there when it comes to crypto payments?
Okay, great. I'm the co-chairman, co-founder of Hong Kong Blockchain Association. I'm also the president of Global STOX Limited. And we are one of the earliest companies, crypto exchanges that are applying for the Hong Kong Regulated Exchange License, which is under the SFC, Securities Futures Commission of Hong Kong. In November of last year, 2019, the Hong Kong SFC has issued a new set of regulations on VATP, the Virtual Asset Trading Platform license. And the entry barrier is quite high. We have to have a big compliance department. We have to hire a number of responsible officers. These are licensed personnel, very expensive. We also have to buy crypto insurance. It's required that we provide insurance for our client assets. We also required to have custody accounts. So the funds of the client are separated from the company's money. So Hong Kong is rolling out its regulations on blockchain and virtual asset trading. In other parts of Asia, as I mentioned, the Philippines also came out with the first Cagayan, the CESA, Cagayan Special Economic Zone, has issued a number of crypto exchange licenses, virtual asset licenses, and many of the Chinese companies have gone into the Philippines and have applied for the license.
So it sounds like, of course, there is a lot of steps there before we get to the final product, which is that it's being implemented. Max, I want to ask you now, how does the future of crypto processing payments actually being implemented on online gaming operators, how does that look like?
So from what we see really in the industry right now, that the more and more operators and their shareholders are telling the CEOs that please explore this new concept, because still a lot of misunderstanding in the industry, right? So I see a big gap in education, right? So more classical gaming operators, let's say those who are in the industry for 10 years, so like forever in the gaming industry, right? They are still experimenting, right? Trying to understand what is cryptocurrency and how to use it. Still, like all my calls with potential clients mostly start with explaining why is it not scary, because they see their competitors are doing this, they see that younger operators are doing this, and they see that they are winning them in the regions where there are some challenges with the payments. Of course, cryptocurrency solves a lot of issues. I mean, I think we will speak later why operators need cryptocurrency, but for now I see that the industry is growing. The industry, I mean cryptocurrency industry, is growing in iGaming. So I see more and more transactions are happening in cryptocurrencies, basically in the activities of online gaming and different and other online entertainment industry.
And Tony, would you agree that actually we are seeing interest? And from Max, it sounds like actually we are seeing interest at quite a consistent level over the past few years from gaming operators looking to explore this new vertical.
I think the payment with cryptocurrencies for gaming will be rising very soon. Just like nowadays in China, WeChat, Alipay have taken over. Nobody is using cash notes to pay for anything. More than 90%, even the beggars are scanning QR code. So as you probably know, the Chinese government is also getting ready to roll out its centralized central bank-backed cryptocurrency called DCEP. And so I think that the era of cryptocurrency payment for a variety of purposes, for gaming, for entertainment, for remittance, wire transfer. I know SiGMA, Alibaba, they roll out a cross-border payment based on blockchain and cryptocurrencies from Hong Kong to the Philippines. And they're hoping to disrupt the entrenched leader, which is like Western Union. And they're charging, there's a huge population of domestic workers in Hong Kong that every month they need to wire money back to the Philippines, and the existing money remittance companies are charging something like 10-20% fees. So I know Alibaba and many other companies have come up with a cryptocurrency version of this, which is taking less than 1% of the fees, and they can also reach the destination within seconds rather than hours or days.
And if we look at, as you mentioned there, China's looking into a government-backed cryptocurrency and a central bank coin, would that be the only thing that would really ramp up this speed of online and land-based gaming operators really looking to adopt crypto payments as a method of payment?
Well, I haven't seen the details of the Chinese government, the DCEP, the digital currency electronic payment. But I know that it's already in trial pilot in 4 cities. And many of the civil servants, the government workers, are receiving their salaries and reimbursements, not from bank, not from cash notes, but from the digital currency, the digital payment. So I think that just like the Chinese UnionPay card, which has started in China but expanded all over the world, I think the digital currency, once it's released, it should reach a big popularity, especially in Southeast Asia, where most of the people are already taking payments in the Chinese currency renminbi. So they will be more familiar with the digital version of the renminbi.
Thank you. And now, Max, I want to turn to you and just ask you, so how would you like to tackle cryptocurrencies as an actual, providing a new payment channel for online and land-based? How would you go ahead?
Yeah, just if you allow, I would like to comment a bit on the digital yuan.
Sure.
So I've been thinking about the governmental-based cryptocurrencies already a few years ago, and ideally, so it is a great experiment, right? And it is a great idea to take the advantages of cryptocurrency, right? To remove a bit of disadvantages of cryptocurrency, like fluctuation in the price and so on, and especially if the giant as China will start this project, this will be a great example for the whole world that that when the government is basically embracing the new technology, making the payments easier and quicker, but still being very controlled and regulated. So this will really be a great example. And going back to your question, so from from where we see it is happening and how it is happening. So operators really love the idea of cryptocurrency because of few obvious things, right? As we know, in iGaming historically, and in some regions better, some regions worse, they have challenges with payments, right? They have certain limitations with acquirers, like we see in UK, right, where all the credit cards are blocked for gaming and casinos, and for betting. So what I see, I have some notes. So what operators really love is basically the speed of the transactions, right? This is the global reach, so they don't really have to integrate a lot of the payment methods for different markets. And we know that iGaming operators usually don't work only in one country, but more like for the whole world. In UK is different, right? But UK is more like an exception in this sense. This is usually much cheaper than different e-wallets or cards. It is reversible, so we know that many of them basically always have some percentage of the fraud and chargebacks, and also they suffer from rolling reserve on the providers, especially smaller operators, right? They not always can afford to store some amount of funds on the acquirer. It helps to enter new markets and also to build new affiliation systems, right, where they can integrating cryptocurrency, then the affiliates of the merchant just can try to place their banners and to build all their affiliation to the special cryptocurrency groups, forums, websites with analytics and so on. So this opens also new ways of promotion the business, and also less middlemen, right? So you usually have less dependencies. You know, right, that the acquirer would need to be authorized by Visa Master, then the Visa Master is authorized by, like, this is the bank which does all the settlements. So it also adds a bit of the risks that the account might be closed, or I mean, it creates some dependencies, when with cryptocurrencies you usually have only one.
And Tony, is there anything that you'd like to add to that? Because Max has highlighted that speed is a huge benefit for operators, also the fact that there's opportunities to get into new markets, and then also cutting out the middlemen. Is there any other aspects that are of immediate benefits to an operator?
I think in the traditional casino sense, the movement of money is always a big issue because, as everyone knows, there's a big border restriction on how much cash you can carry across the border among various countries in Asia. But I think that the Chinese government wants to promote the yuan, the Chinese renminbi, as a more acceptable way for international trade and foreign exchange. So I think that with the release of the Chinese central bank-backed digital currency, DCEP, I think we're going to see the yuan, the Chinese yuan, used more and more outside of China, especially in Southeast Asia. And I think that's also within the goal. One of the goals of the DCEP is to promote the acceptance of Chinese yuan, while allowing the government to keep track of how the money is spent with the AML and counterterrorism and stuff like that. So.
And you mentioned AML there, Tony, and I want to bounce back to Max and just ask, when it comes to the challenges that come with onboarding crypto payments as an operator, AML, is there any challenges that you can think of that maybe might put an operator off looking into crypto payments as an option?
There are definitely some challenges in this sense. So because cryptocurrency is so different from the usual payment methods, right, where you usually when the people are sending money you from the bank, right, you can verify that the account holder name is the same as the client that you're dealing with, right? With Visa Master, okay, it's also not so really easy, right, because the technology doesn't support the name check. With the e-wallets, it's easier. And with cryptocurrency, there is no such real definition as the account holder, right, because of the nature of cryptocurrencies, which is ownership by information, right? And the owner of cryptocurrency is not the owner of the passport, it's the owner of the key. So here, verifying that the sender and the user is the same is relatively tough, right? So right now, especially with new AML regulations, they are embracing that you have to check who is sending you money, but unfortunately, technology doesn't really support this. And that is where digital yuan and digital governmental cryptocurrencies can really help, kind of because there always will be the information about the sender and the holder of the wallet. What we do right now, we launch the wallet with the KYC. So in this sense, when customers are paying our merchants from our wallet, of course, we know who is the sender. And in the end, a lot of the license issuers, they kind of don't regulate how to work with cryptocurrencies. That is what we see happening with MGA, right, with Maltese Gaming Authority. We see a great demand from MGA casinos to accept cryptocurrencies, but they are just trapped, right, by the situation that they just have no way, completely no licenses issued for VFA agents. So this is like, there is no way. And one of the reasons why it is no way, because they probably cannot figure out how to make it happen. The Cagayan, the Kanawaki, right, from the Canada and the Curacao are regulating how to work with cryptocurrency, so all good there. And also the last and very important thing is the source of funds, right? So most of the cryptocurrency providers, like we check the source of cryptocurrency, right? So we know when crypto is coming from the darknet, from bad actors, right, from some illegal businesses and so on. So we can always provide to the operator or to our merchants the information about the source of cryptocurrency, so they can check additional source of funds from the customer and so on if they see that something dodgy is happening. So we do all we can from the technical side, and of course we are waiting for some movements in the regulation, also consulting the regulator how to make these laws and regulations more implementable.
And that's a good point, actually working with a regulator then to try and almost speed up a process that might be a little bit clouded for operators and for crypto processing companies alike. Tony, is there anything that you'd like to add there?
Yeah, as a regulated exchange in Hong Kong, under application of the SFC's license, we are required to check the source of the crypto, and we also have to abide by the various actions and regulations released by, like FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. They have released a number of guidelines. Also check the blacklist and see if these the source of the wallet are blacklisted. And also for us, we have to get all the clients' information. We have to track everything as a regulated exchange. And we also, actually our requirements are much higher because we are targeting the professional investors. In Hong Kong, the definition of professional investors is anyone who's got asset over 8 million Hong Kong, liquid asset that is over $1 million worth of cash. So for us, under the SFC's regulation, we are required to get all the information, their risk portfolio, and to assess if they qualify to become a professional investor as defined by the Hong Kong government SFC. So we have to do a lot of paperwork, tracking AML, KYC documents, and also, as I mentioned, client protection, custody account, and insurance on the crypto assets. So there's a lot of things we have to do.
And it certainly sounds like since 2017 and 18, we are seeing more processes that are in place now from crypto processing firms and also operators when it comes to making sure that everything is with due diligence and also correct. So it sounds like you've provided some fantastic context. You've definitely given our viewers a lot of information. So Max, Tony, thank you so much for your time today.